And I have James Shuls with the Show Me Institute on the telephone. Good morning, James. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time and the Show Me Institute. And I hope, folks, we've done a good job teaching about the Show Me Institute and what it's all about and why folks should check out the Show Me Institute. Remind the folks, what is the Show Me Institute, if you would, James?
The Show Me Institute's a free market think tank. We believe that individuals know what's best, and that government works best when it stays out of individuals' lives and gives people the opportunity to prosper and to thrive. And so we're an education organization. We try to write policy briefs and op-eds and do research to educate people so that they can, like I said, so that they can live their life and reduce the role of government in their lives.
And it's not a lobby group. You're not twisting arms of lawmakers. I mean, that's important that folks know. It's to educate.
Right, absolutely. We are not lobbyists. We're a charity. We're a 501c3, so individuals can support us with donations, and we simply try to educate people on the issues.
All right, and we're going to talk about schools this morning with James Shuls of the Show Me Institute. You're the Education Policy Analyst. And let's start with Springfield schools. There was a recent article in the paper about school choice, and some families here in Springfield are going to have a decision to make here pretty quick. Tell us about that story, if you would, James.
Yeah, so Springfield really does some very good things, and one of the things they do that's, I think, very good is they have this intra-district choice program. So if you're in the district and you don't like your school, you have the ability to transfer to another district, to another school within the district. And so right now there's a process going on. It's open until December 6th, where you can apply to transfer to another school.
So say you want to go you live in the Central District, you want to go to Kickapoo, or if you're in Hillcrest, you want to go to Glendale, you can do that?
Absolutely. You could apply, and it depends on spaces. There have to be spaces available at the other school. But, let's say your school's not doing well. It's not meeting your needs. You can transfer to another school. Or maybe it's a convenience thing where you want to have your kids close to where you work and you want to take them with you. This might be something that you want to look into. And, really what I see in this is it's the district saying, we recognize there's some benefit to school choice. We recognize that parents want some options. And so the district's reaching out and trying in a small way to expand options for families. And I think that's very much a good thing, and the district does deserve some credit for that.
Yeah, but if you have a full high school in one part of town and an empty high school in another, how does that help?
Well, it helps the individual families who are able to move. And I'll tell you, I worked in a school district before, and we had a school where all the students and teachers wanted to transfer into one school, and none of them wanted to go into the other. And really that makes the administration higher-ups start looking at that school where students are leaving and say, okay, what do we need to change because something's not working here?
Well, you hit a bullseye. You hit a bullseye. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. It's a market signal. Right now schools too often don't have market signals. They don't have the feedback of the customer telling them where they need to improve. And this is one of the ways that it indicates to the district, hey, we need to change something here in this school because we're not keeping students here.
Right, exactly. Students that have a choice and want to go to a better high school, that only makes the high school they're leaving better, or they better get better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Schools should have to improve. They should have to try to work to keep their students and not just rely that they'll be assigned to them each year. That's not a recipe for success, that's for sure.
And here's the perfect example. In my alma mater, I went to Central High. And when I was going back in the 80s, we were the poor dog on the totem pole. Everybody looked down, and now Central High School here in Springfield, folks look up as one of the better schools across the country, and it makes me proud having been an alumni there. But I think that's what it's all about. That's the school choice that makes a big difference in the productivity of a high school.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it again. Thinking about kids being assigned to a school. If the students are assigned to a school, what incentive does the district have to improve? But when the students have the ability to leave that school and the districts actually have to try their best to keep those students there, it incentivizes them, it encourages them to reach out, to improve, and to get better. And that's what we want for our schools. We want them to get better and actually serve the students.
So while we are along this highway, James, of school choice, now let's introduce the term vouchers into the argument. Why are vouchers an important part of education?
I think vouchers or any other type of program that gives kids access to private schools are a really great step in the right direction. So what they do is they expand options even further. So right now, I applaud Springfield for the intra-district choice, allowing you to transfer within the district. But it may be the case that the better schools don't have enough spaces for other students, or even that school might not serve my needs. And so what a voucher or a private school scholarship program does is it opens up options to even a greater number of schools. There are some really great private schools in the Springfield area that students could get access to under this type of program. Especially students in disadvantaged, the northern part of Springfield, more disadvantaged areas. They might not be able to afford private schools, but with that type of program, they would get another option where they'd be able to send their kid to a school that might actually be able to best meet their needs.
All right, we're visiting with James Shuls, who is the Education Policy Analyst for the Show Me Institute. And you can learn more about this issue by going online to showmeinstitute.org, showmeinstitute.org. And they also have backup programs of this radio show, along with a lot of other radio programs and essays that they have put together. Go to showmeinstitute.org. Now we've talked about the Springfield School and choice and vouchers. Now, there's a new issue coming up that could reach the Missouri ballot having to do with Catholic schools and other private entities. Tell us about that.
Right, so this is like a voucher, but it's called a tax credit scholarship program. And so there's a ballot initiative. They're collecting signatures right now. The Missouri Catholic Conference and the Archdiocese have been in support of this and are leading the effort here. But what it does is it creates a scholarship program for students to attend private schools. So individuals give donations. This is called a tax credit scholarship. The individuals give donations and corporations give donations to these scholarship organizations, and then in turn get a credit towards their taxes. So the credit in this initiative was 50%. So if you give $1,000, you would get a $500 credit towards your taxes. And that's different from a deduction. That's if you owe $500, this goes towards that $500 that you owe. And so it's a way to generate more money towards education in our state.
And it enhances the private schools and should make the public schools become more competitive. Is that true or not?
Absolutely. So it expands choice, expands options for families. It's going to help give scholarships to students to attend private schools, but only a portion of the donations go to that. A larger portion, 50% of the donations, go towards helping fund public school programs. So part of the funds go to public school programs, part of it go towards funding scholarships, and then 10% of the donations go towards special education programs. So it's a way to leverage more dollars, private donations, to help fund education programs and help improve the education of students in Missouri.
And this might be an answer to getting a quality education that's not always on the dole of taxpayers. If someone wants to give, as an example, to the local Catholic Church, and if this were to pass as a ballot initiative and you were to get half back on a tax credit, that's allowing that school to progress, and thereby public schools would also progress and stay competitive, but not on the backs of taxpayers. Am I making that coalition correctly?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. I mean, these programs have been tried in about a dozen other states, and when they're tried, they're almost always shown to save taxpayers money. So what you get is expanded options for students, and taxpayers save money because it's individuals that are giving, on their own free will, they're giving to support this program and expand options for kids.
All right.
And so you're absolutely right. It expands choice, it improves education for students, and it doesn't do it on the government dime.
All right, we're visiting with James Shuls of the Show Me Institute. You can learn more about this at showmeinstitute.org, showmeinstitute.org. And by the way, they're looking for signatures to put this on the ballot. You think this will make a ballot issue next year?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I think that they'll have a good chance. Like I said, the Missouri Catholic Conference and the Archdiocese are really pushing for it. I believe they've got the Lutheran schools of Missouri on board, and so there are lots of private schools that will be pushing this, and I imagine that they'll collect enough signatures, but that is a tall task, that's for sure.
All right, and so we've talked about it from a local and a state level. Now let's talk about from a national level and school vouchers and that issue. And I know that that the U.S. Department of Justice currently has announced that it will sue the Louisiana school districts over their voucher program. Tell us about that.
So this was a really interesting news story. This came out actually on the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington. So on a day where we celebrate civil rights, the Department of Justice says, we're suing the state, which is providing scholarships, vouchers, to mostly minority students to attend private schools. And so it's a really interesting lawsuit. Bobby Jindal, governor of Louisiana, said to Eric Holder from the Department of Justice, says, your Department of Justice is attempting to use old rules designed to prevent discrimination against minority children to try to keep these children trapped in failing schools. So basically, they're using some old desegregation laws, and they're saying, look, because these laws are on the books, we don't think that this voucher program is, we think it might be in violation of the laws. What it turns out, there's a recent study that just looked at this, the voucher program is helping mostly poor minority students leave failing schools, and when they leave those failing schools, it's actually improving the desegregation efforts. So the lawsuit, I can't believe is going to go on. I imagine it will be dropped eventually, but it just, to me, shows, that some animosity towards private school choice. I mean, this has been a fight regularly among the administration in the White House. They fought against the Washington, D.C. Opportunity Scholarship Program, which is a voucher program in Washington, D.C., and now the Department of Justice is attacking this voucher program. So it's interesting to see from the local level in Springfield saying, we like district choice within our district, and you have at the state level an initiative going where people are trying to expand choice, and then at the very top level, trying to prevent choice. But at all levels, we're seeing battles and arguments over school choice, and I think it's great to see this in the news at all levels, and then people actually getting engaged in this issue.
All right, we're visiting with James Shuls, and he's the Education Policy Analyst for the Show Me Institute. But here's the bottom line. We have got to look at new ways and new ideas, creative ideas to change what we're doing now, because by the element of results of test scores, by the element of classroom size, we're not getting the job done if you want quality education. The number of dropouts, we're not getting the job done. We've got to find ways to improve public education, and that might be through more choice and school vouchers.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you look at our track record over the past 50 years, just constantly spending more and more money, and many people call for more money to be the solution. I don't think more money is the solution. I think more choice is the solution. So the problems we see in education today, I think, stem from the fact that people don't have options, that we've been assigned to the school down the street for so long that the market has just failed. There is no market. There's no competition. There's just a monopoly, and for the select few who can afford private schools, there's an option. But we need to rethink education. We need to rethink how we run this system, because the idea of education, as I've said on your program before, the idea of public education is to give kids a quality education. And so I think that looking at school choice programs like tax credit scholarships or vouchers or whatever it is a really good step in the right direction.
I mean, even the idea that the only thing you have in common with your classmate is your age. I mean, that's the way it was back in the 50s and 60s. It ought to be that your classmate has the same abilities or close to your abilities regardless of your age. We should rethink the entire structure if we really want to get serious about giving our children a quality education.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have not discovered the one best right way, right? So advancing kids one grade level at a time based on age groups and the exact sequence of events, sequence of learning standards, we haven't discovered the one right way. And there's lots of experimentation that needs to happen. People need to be trying new things and thinking out of the box about how do we redesign education to actually meet the needs of students instead of staying in this old mold that we've had for many decades now. So I think you're absolutely right. We need to get outside the box and figure out how can we do this in a more effective way.
I'll tell you what the answer is not just throwing more money at it. And there's a lot of lawmakers and a lot of people inside the school districts today that say we just need more money. We can get this done. Just give us more money. And that just is so frustrating to taxpayers. A lot of taxpayers listening this morning.
Let me just put it into perspective. I know we're about out of time. The average district in Missouri spends close to $10,000. And the average class size is around 25 students. That means in a single class you have $250,000 sitting there. Your teacher makes maybe, $40,000? So you have $210,000 going someplace else. The problem isn't money. It's that we ineffectively spend our money, and we've designed a system in a way that doesn't actually meet the needs of kids, and it's not responsive to kids' needs. So money's not the problem, or money is not the solution, that's for sure.
Excellent discussion this morning. Really appreciate it. And tell us about some of your essays on the website, if you would, James.
Yeah, you could check out on showmeinstitute.org some stuff I've written on school choice. Most recently, I had a paper called Redefining Public Education. It touches on a lot of the stuff we've discussed here. I think your listeners would enjoy that.
James Shuls, the Education Policy Analyst for the Show Me Institute. I do appreciate the time, and thank you.
Thanks so much, Tim. Have a great day.
All right, and for more information, I tell you, he's right on it. The bullseye. I mean, if you would just take the time to educate yourself about school choice and school vouchers and what it means in terms of just increasing all boats rise with a high tide, increasing the quality of education. Go to showmeinstitute.org